Making alliances work, governance of alliances.
There are a significant number of mechanics to consider in building successful alliances. The focus here will be on how to make an alliance work, that is, achieve or exceed the partner firm's goals, assuming an alliance possesses, prior to its formation, the necessary resource potential for success. One crucial factor is having a set of mechanisms that ensures partners fulfill their obligations to each other, and work cooperatively toward mutually beneficial outcomes. These can be thought of as governance mechanisms. Governance mechanisms reduce uncertainty between partners and inhibit self-interest seeking by one partner at the expense of another. 32.3 Key governance mechanisms are contracts, non-contractual mutual dependence, and a partner relationship based on cooperative norms. It has been suggested that reliance on only one of these forms of governance does not sufficiently ensure a successful alliance, as each has inherent weaknesses. It is thus ideal for an alliance to utilize multiple governance mechanisms. Contracts, and contractual dependence, are based on a formal, legal document that defines the roles, responsibilities, and obligations of each partner. A contract provides a legal safeguard against a lack of cooperation and actions motivated by self-interest. 33 Partners that do not fulfill contractual obligations may pay a heavy price through the legal system. A contract thus creates a form of obligation dependence that often motivates cooperation and concern for mutually beneficial outcomes. However, contracts have inherent weaknesses that make them an insufficient form of alliance governance when used on their own. 34 First, it is impossible to write a complete contract, and the more complex the business situation, the less complete a contract will be. 35 Second, the exercise of contractual power often, if not usually, results in negative consequences as it tends to create ill will between partners. This often leads to retaliatory actions that damage the partner's working relationship and the performance of the alliance. At the very least, the exercise of contractual power is not conducive to building a relationship between partners that is characterized by trust, commitment, and a belief that cooperative norms exist. Indeed, it has been noted that once the contract is referred to, the relationship is dead. 36. The preceding quote urging caution about the exercise of contracts has been attributed to James R. Houghton, former chairman of Corning and considered to be an early alliance visionary at Corning. The point was not that having contracts per se is detrimental to effective alliance governance. Indeed, contracts represent a safety net if all else fails. Rather, it was that one should apply caution since contracts can signal a lack of a cooperative spirit and trust that can irreparably damage perceptions that relational norms exist. This will make effective alliance governance more difficult as the strength of the relationship between alliance partners is arguably the most critical alliance governance mechanism. On this point there is strong consensus. For example, Kenichi Ome, an expert on alliances at McKinsey Consulting, points out that good partnerships, like good marriages, don't work on the basis of ownership or control. It takes effort and commitment and enthusiasm from both sides if either is to realize the hoped-for benefits. You cannot own a successful partner any more than you can own a husband or a wife. 37. Ben Gomez-Cassiers, a scholar on alliances, further notes that there is value to being flexible with partners and taking a dynamic approach to managing alliances. 38. Just as the broader strategy is more important than the individual deal, so too the evolution of the relationship over time is more important than the initial deal. Automobile companies today are discovering this fact as allies try to use alliances to rationalize their global operations. Renault and Nissan, Daimler Chrysler and Mitsubishi, Ford and Mazda, each pair is trying to integrate its supply chains, share technology, and produce expensive components jointly. Doing so requires much more than signing a deal for part ownership or for a joint venture. It requires close planning, continual adjustments, and deep relationships among partner organizations and managers. The reason why this kind of post-deal management is so important is that alliances by their very nature are open-ended and ever-changing. If all the terms between two companies can be specified and agreed at the outset, there is no need for an alliance, a contract will do. A true alliance is an organizational structure that enables control over future decisions to be shared and that governs continual negotiations. It is recognition that the initial agreement is incomplete. That is why success in alliances depends so much on governance structures and on the relationship between companies, including personal relationships between managers.